Earlier this morning, on my orders, U.S. military forces conducted a kinetic strike against positively identified Tren de Aragua narco-terrorists in the Southcom area of responsibility. TDA is a designated foreign terrorist organization operating under the control of Nicolas Maduro, responsible for mass murder, drug trafficking, sex trafficking, and acts of violence and terror across the United States and Western Hemisphere. The strike occurred while the terrorists were at sea in international waters, transporting illegal narcotics headed to the United States. The strike resulted in 11 terrorists killed in action. No U.S. forces were harmed in this strike. Please let this serve as notice to anybody even thinking about bringing drugs into the United States of America. Beware. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation. Wow. That's interesting. Oh, look, there's my comment. I think it's Ronald Reagan laughing. Well, that ought to lead us right into this press conference that I would like us to watch, because this happened earlier today and I missed it, son of a bee. So we're going to watch it right now.
I am thrilled to report that the U.S. Space Command headquarters will move to the beautiful locale of a place called Huntsville, Alabama, forever to be known from this point forward.
U.S. Space Command
City.
Oh,
okay,
Rocket
so
City.
Huntsville, Alabama. We love Alabama.
Huntsville, Alabama.
I only won it by about 47 points. I don't think that influenced my decision, though, right? That didn't.
I don't think that influenced my decision. All right, so they're moving
for this,
Space Command to
Alabama's getting it. Huntsville in particular. So congratulations, everybody. Katie, congratulations.
Yeah, I know that he was planning on doing this back in 2019.
30,000 Alabama jobs, and probably much more than that, and hundreds of millions of dollars of investment.
Yeah, big dub for Alabama.
It can't be millions; it's billions and billions
Jay
of
Watch.
dollars. Most importantly, this decision will help America.
Panzer Shreks, what's up, dude? Clipper, is everything okay? It is indeed. What happened in Alabama?
Losing the race in space very badly.
So Alabama, they're moving the U.S. Space Command down to Alabama from, I believe, Colorado. So in President Trump's first term, he planned on moving the headquarters for the U.S. Space Command down to Alabama, and then President Biden's administration took office in 2020, and they kept it in Colorado, I believe. And so now that he's back in the presidency, he wants to move it back down to Alabama like he had planned to in his first term. So that's kind of what's going on right now. He's just that's one of the many things that he's announcing with this, although I'm sure there's going to be many other things.
And today we're moving forward with what we want to do and the place that we want to have this, and this will be there for hopefully hundreds of years. That's where it's going to be.
Yeah, let's hope.
I will say I want to.
Let's hope we don't all die in a nuclear holocaust. That'd be great.
I have with Colorado, one of the big problems.
It'd be great if we could all survive for the next couple hundred years or more.
So they have automatically crooked elections. Pete, say a few words, please.
I am indeed an American.
Thank you, Mr. President. As usual, right place, right time, for the right reason. In your first administration, you established the Space Force at a time when we knew we had to be looking to that domain of space. You also reestablished SpaceCom to ensure that priority was put in place, and you, through the Air Force, independently identified that Huntsville, Alabama was the right place to put it. For other reasons, in the next administration under Biden, they decided to move it somewhere else. Well, during that time,
I'm from the UK. Well, welcome in.
General, the Government Affairs Office, they did their own assessments.
Welcome in.
And where did they say SpaceCom should go? Huntsville, Alabama. So what you're doing today, Mr. President, is restoring it to precisely where it should be based on what the Space Force, the Air Force, your leadership believes will give us strategic advantage in the future. That is Huntsville, Alabama. We are way ahead in space, but this will ensure we stay leaps and bounds ahead, because that's the most important domain. Whoever controls the skies will control the future of warfare. And Mr. President, today you're ensuring that happens. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
This is a great day for our country, not just for our state of Alabama. We need help in our military. We need to catch up. And as Secretary has said, we're not behind in space.
We're going to shrink that little face box a little bit.
Expound on that. Now,
if you ain't first, you're last.
Will save the taxpayers $480.
Did all they do is move the base HQ? I believe so, Inquisitor.
It's going to cut $480 million. We have the plans intact. It'll be behind a secure wall in Huntsville, Alabama, at Redstone Arsenal. We have 40,000 people there. We have the FBI
Redstone
there.
Arsenal.
We have missile defense there. We have NASA. Blue Origin and SpaceX. It is the
Oh,
perfect
wow.
place for Space Command. I would tell you today, and I've spoke with the president for the last 3 or 4 years about this. If I thought it needed to go somewhere else because I understand the security of our country, I'd be for that. But the best place for Space Command is Huntsville, Alabama, because what we have and what it means to this country is going to be so important. So thank you, Mr. President, for this, and we look forward to building a huge Space Command and having the Donald J. Trump Space Command Center in Huntsville, Alabama. Yeah.
Nice. I might have to immigrate to the U.S. It's been pretty going downhill here in the north.
Sure.
Hey, bro.
Mr.
Come
President,
down
thank
anytime
you.
you're
I'll be
ready.
very brief here. I lobbied the president hard to put it in Ohio, but he said these people behind us, these
I wanted to
Alabamans
put
are
it
just
in
too
Ohio.
powerful and too persuasive.
I'm sure.
And so it's in Alabama.
I'm sure you
but
did.
as Tommy said, this is exactly the right place for Space Force and Space Command. I think Americans ought to appreciate the fact that you can't win the battle of the future unless you control the skies. The cyber security, the communications, the entire infrastructure of the battle in the 21st century will be in space. So it was a
I don't know why I
visionary
didn't
move of
realize
the first
that.
administration for the president to set up Space Force, and I think an equally
All right, so I'm an idiot. That Katie is not just any random person. She is a senator, a U.S. senator from Alabama.
You think about it, Redstone Arsenal is critical to national security. It's not because of this or that. It's because it's right for national security. You think of the 21 categories that were evaluated to determine what was best for national security. All indicators pointed back to Huntsville, Alabama, and Redstone Arsenal. We have the right people at the right place at the right time. Mr. President, on behalf of the people of the 5th Congressional District.
Yeah, Huntsville actually makes sense. It was a huge part in developing the Saturn V rockets that were used during the space race. Interesting. I didn't realize that. We planning on space battles soon? I think one of the things that the Space Force does is like controlling satellites, although I do have a video coming out soon about a space carrier that I think you guys will like, an orbital carrier, if you will. And that's something that the Space Force is going to be having so that they can have a serious impact. It's going to be kind of like a regular ocean carrier, but it's going to be in space. So there's going to be a lot of stuff coming around for sure. A lot of stuff coming.
And all of Alabama, thank you for keeping your word. Absolutely.
Space is not supposed to be militarized, the whole occupying the moon goofiness. Yeah, you know what's funny is that China's talked about building a military base on the moon. Before that, America planned on making a military base on the moon, and then also the Russians planned on making a military base on the moon. Guess how many people did that? Goose egg. Nobody. And probably because it'd be way too damn expensive and be hard to sustain them. And if something went wrong, God forbid, they're cooked.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much. You are going to leave me alone now? You're not going to call me anymore and talk about this subject, right? You promise? They'll start something else. But I just want to congratulate you. It's a very big deal. When you come out and
Indeed
when you
it
leave
is.
the room, you'll see that we just, over the last few minutes, literally shot out a boat, a drug carrying boat. A lot of drugs in that boat.
A lot of drugs in that boat.
You'll be seeing that, and you'll be reading about that. It just happened moments ago, and our great general, head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who's been so incredible, including what took place in Iran, knocking out potential nuclear power for a long time to come. I think within a month they would have had it if we didn't do what we did. But he gave us a little bit of a briefing, and you'll see. And there's more where that came from. We have a lot of drugs pouring into our country, coming in for a long time. And we just, these came out of Venezuela and coming out very heavily from Venezuela. A lot of things are coming out of Venezuela. So we took it out, and you'll get to see that after this meeting is over. Do you have any questions, please? Yeah, please.
Oh, guarantee.
Senator Cumberville, you talked about the cost savings associated with this announcement. Can you talk about the strategic benefits by having Space Force Command headquartered in Huntsville?
Well, it just works because we have so much else there. And having a central, you could call it a central command, but it really is a command station. Also, even locationally, where it is, and when you think about flying distances, if you can save a half an hour as fast as some of these planes go and things go, and even the rockets go, if you can save by having the best location. So we went out, as you know, to experts, and we had 4 different groups of experts. They all said this was the best location. I also loved it from the standpoint, I know the people of Alabama.
I mean, I guess it makes sense that
work hard, and there's no games, and they're very proud.
It makes sense if that's like where a lot of the other space technology corporations are located, that it would be a good place for it to be, like SpaceX, Blue Origin, NASA stuff. There's some NASA stuff down there. It makes sense why they would co-locate Space Command down there among all of that stuff, so they can kind of like mutually support each other.
Peter.
Something else. We know that this country has a huge problem with school shootings. You've said that you're open to sending the National Guard pretty much anywhere. Would you ever consider sending an armed National Guardsman to every school?
Well, we have a big problem with school shooting.
But
we also
pertinent
have
question.
Thousands and thousands of schools that run perfectly. You know, they talk about.
I think that might be more of a job for local law enforcement.
That's really, I think nobody knows more about construction than me. You can build the construction doors. You can build what they call safety doors, where they lock on the outside, the inside, and every place else. Well, but if one of these lunatics happens to get through, then the police can't get in. Then they're looking for keys all over the place, and it takes a lot of disadvantages to doing, spending billions and billions of dollars and actually making it safer in some way for some of these lunatics.
The bugs are on the moon?
I don't think so.
We're going to the moon tonight, boys. Don't you worry about that.
Love our children. The parents love the children. Teachers love the children too. And if you took a small percentage of those teachers that were in the military, that were distinguished in the military, that were in the National Guard, et cetera, and you let them carry, that's something.
So when he's talking about keys, I think what he's talking about is like there's like ways to set the doors up where they automatically lock when they close. But what he's talking about is like if the assailant somehow gets into the door and then it shuts behind them, and then the police arrive to get into the door, but they can't because you need keys to open the door to get inside of the school, then that's a problem, right? But I think at the end of the day, the only way to make it like less likely to happen is have more security personnel out there, either more actual officers or contracted security. And maybe you take a portion of the budget away from something else that we don't need to spend money on and spend it on securing schools. Could do that. But I'm an idiot. I don't know what I'm talking about, but that that could potentially work. Could make a difference. You know what I'm saying?
Thing that a lot of people like. I sort of liked it. I'd have to be studied, but they're trained.
Some students are, but it depends on who
weapons.
The assailant is.
You can't
probably
do it with every teacher because most teachers don't know,
and the
but
circumstances.
I always thought that would be an alternative. But it just we've had a lot of instances. Other countries have also. They have different kinds of problems than we have, but we do have. There's something going on. And it's a bad thing. Yes, please.
There's always something going on.
Have you spoken with President Putin?
Yeah, I don't want to. I have learned things that will be very interesting. I think in the next few days you'll find out.
Will there be any consequences if there isn't some type of announcement of a meeting with President Putin and President Zelensky?
Yeah, there will be. We're going to see what happens. We're going to see what they do and what happens. I'm watching it very closely. Last week they lost 7,000 between the two countries. 7,313 soldiers, to be somewhat exact, for no reason.
There's a great YouTube channel that talks about what's going on in China.
But they're soldiers. I want to
called
see
The China Show. It's hosted by an American and a South African that both had lived in China for over a decade. Interesting.
I didn't say when, but the answer is, look, Chicago's very
Stop sending money to places we shouldn't. Start making schools safe. Agreed.
We don't need help. We're safe. But 2 weeks ago, they had 6 people murdered.
And let me see. It's groups. I work in one of the worst districts in the country. Students during lunch would walk to 7-Eleven and rob it at gunpoint, then come back to school. Bro, what? That is insane. I can't even, that's so hard to even comprehend. That's why people aren't sending their kids to public school. Is that right there? Why would you want to put your kid in a position where they are with other students like that? That's nuts. That is crazy.
Murdered. And they had
call all foreign aid and focus on the schools and infrastructure of our nation. You want to put America first. Put America first, right?
And 7 people
Do you
died.
really want to put America first?
And then over the last 2 days, that was the
I think a lot of people would agree with you. 7,313.
9 killed, 9 or 10
down to the
killed.
number.
and 50 hit with bullets. And you have this governor get up, who's a terrible governor. Probably he and Gavin Newsom would be probably the two worst and most naive.
He always calls him
naive.
Newsom.
Either they're naive or they're very untruthful. And he'll say, we don't want any protection. We don't need. So in the last
Inquisitor,
3
that
weeks,
that
he's
kid
lost
sounds like he is
20 people
mentally
killed.
unwell.
There's no place in the world, including you can go to Afghanistan, you can go to places that you would think of.
I love his hand
Never even
talking
come
too.
close to this.
Like,
Chicago is a hellhole right now. Baltimore is a hellhole right now.
it's a hellhole.
Parts of Los Angeles are terrible. If we didn't put out the fires, and I mean the other fires, the bullet fires, they didn't do a good job with. They should have had the water coming down, like I said. You know, we had to release the water. We had to go in and release the water to L.A. It's so badly run. But if I didn't send the National Guard into Los Angeles, I would be making an announcement today. I'd be talking about Huntsville, and I'd simultaneously be saying, by the way, the
I am on
Olympics is not
Helldivers 2
coming
campain app, and I do
to
not
Los
see any of
Angeles.
the bugs
If
near
we didn't
Super
do
Earth.
that, if we didn't do that,
Hey, don't worry,
and
we're
even
going
the
to find
sheriff,
out where they're
the
at.
top
We're going to
law
find out.
enforcement person in Los Angeles said
I'm
we could
on.
not have
let's see.
handled it without them. So
Such
that's
a
what he
horrible
said.
hellhole. We're going to make it less of a hellhole. Just
Well,
you
we're
watch.
going in. I didn't say when. We're going in.
I believe you.
When you lose, look, I have an obligation. This isn't a political thing. I have an obligation. When
Title I district.
We lose, when 20
bro.
people are killed over the last 2.5 weeks, and 75 are
Can
shot
see me
with
throughout all the
bullets.
videos.
So let me tell you a
Well,
little
be
story
careful,
about
bro.
a place called D.C., District of Columbia, right here where we are. It's now a safe zone. We have no crime. It's in such great shape. You can go and actually walk with your children, your wife, your husband. You can walk right down the middle of the street. You're not going to be shot, Peter. You're safe. Everyone likes
Why did
you
he
anyway.
point
They
at
probably
Peter?
wouldn't do it.
Why did he
But-
pick Peter out
but
of everybody?
it's
You're
so
not going to be shot,
dangerous.
Peter.
And there are people in this audience that you've suffered greatly.
What time am I getting on
there are people in
Helldivers?
this audience that have been mugged
What's
and
Trump
hurt
doing?
badly. And
So the
if
president's
you don't
just,
want to talk about it. Maybe you were very brave at
basically
talking
giving
about
an
it. You made
announcement
quite an impression
about
on
a
lot
couple
of people.
things.
I appreciate it. But there were other people in this room that got
So
have been hurt.
the first portion of this, he was just announcing that he was transporting the Space Command, U.S. Space Command, down to Huntsville, Alabama. And I'm not sure what the next part is, but apparently there's some other stuff going on with the Department of Defense that he's going to touch on in the video. This was streamed about an hour ago. I missed it because I was working, but this is what's coming up right here. So probably get on Helldivers a little bit later on.
Very badly, just walking
Not
down
much
the
later
street
on.
in Washington, D.C.
LAPD
is a
hated
safe
that
zone
CHP
right
and
now.
guard
It's a
were there,
safe
felt
city.
insulted.
The
I'm a chill
restaurants are
protester,
open.
so I was speaking to
They're
a lot of the
booming.
leadership.
You can't get a restaurant. New restaurants are announcing that they're going to be open. This took place in 12 days. Now it's 15 days, but 3 days ago it became what's known as a safe zone.
Well, here's the thing is I'm sure that there are some people that were LAPD that were against it, and there were probably some LAPD guys that were for it, right? I'm sure that there were some National Guard and CHP that were about it, and I'm sure there were some that were not about it, you know? Life is very nuanced. It's not like all of them felt this way and all of them felt this way. It's like, no, there's going to be like, you know, some of these folks may feel this way. Some of these folks may feel this way. The leadership always going to have their own perspective. Like the lower enlisted guys or lower level leaders are probably going to have a different perspective. You know, life is always nuanced. And I try to remember that, you know, cause it's easy to, it's like the lazy man's way of saying something or making a statement is like, everyone feels this way, and that way you don't have to like think through it or anything like that. But not that I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm sure that whoever you talked to probably was telling you how they felt, and like that was your experience, that was your perspective. I'm sure that there were people that felt for it and people that were like, nope, not a fan of this, you know, on both sides. But that's life though, man. You know, nothing is ever cut and dry. I know no matter how much people want to try to make things out to seem like they're cut and dry, it's not.
Safe city. And this city was really bad. Really
Flotus,
bad.
appreciate
we took 1,600 people out, hardcore criminals that will not be coming back anytime soon. And we're very proud of it, you know, to have our nation's
the
capital
30-minute trial period.
every week.
All right,
you know,
well,
it's like many years where every
welcome in,
single
dude.
week. somebody was killed for many consecutive weeks.
Here's
This
the
went on for
Super Earth
years.
Major Order Operation
And
Righteous
then we had-
Recommendation has
last
entered
week it
its
was
second
announced
stage.
That nobody was killed last week. And I made that announcement in front of a very distinguished leader of a country. And I'm saying proudly, ladies and gentlemen, nobody was killed in Washington,
The
D.C.
worst
this week." He
protesters
looked at
start
me like,
screaming and such, yeah.
What's that all about? I say, yeah, we have a little bit of a crime problem, and we don't have a crime problem in Washington anymore. And the mayor has been very helpful, and the police commission has been very helpful, and it's been a great team. And I would love to have.
Am I going on TikTok tonight? Yes.
I'd gain
we'll
respect
be on
for
there.
him and say we do have a problem, and we'd love you to send in the troops, because you know what?
Once we
The
start
people,
once we
they
start
have to be
streaming
protected.
games.
I saw it today on one of
We'll
your
do it.
networks, not a friendly network.
It'll be fun. It'll be
Really
fun,
the
fun, fun, fun,
opposite,
fun,
I
fun,
would
fun,
say,
fun,
very
fun, fun.
unfriendly network. And they interviewed about 12 people on this morning. Most of them were African American, they were black. And they were saying, please, please, please.
We need Space
let
Force to fight the Hive
president
Lord
send in. These were people from
with their
Chicago.
Space Command
Please, we need help.
and their
We
orbital
need help. We
carriers.
can't walk outside. We're petrified. If the governor of Illinois would call me up, I would love to do it. Now, we're going to do it anyway. We have the right to do it because I have an obligation to protect this country. And that includes Baltimore. I saw where Governor Moore was asking me to take a walk down the street of Baltimore. Well, Baltimore is a very unsafe place. It's rated number 4 in the city, one of the most unsafe places anywhere in the world. But, you know, we took care. This was a beautiful thing that happened in Washington because we showed.
Yeah, the corruption in
that it could be done.
California
And
is
this wasn't
no
just
joke.
sending big, strong
It
guys,
is
and
bad.
they are big and they are strong.
100%.
You know, we had a great decision from the Supreme Court that had to do with sort of talent. It had to do with you are put down based on merit. You can hire based on merit. So merit for a soldier or for a policeman is strong, physically fit.
Prisker?
Something, you know, having a certain ability.
I don't know.
Not a person that is woke and got the job through woke, but wasn't strong enough to lift a gun.
Oh,
out
Luke,
of the
this is
holster,
just the,
et cetera. No, I looked at the.
Luke, this
police,
is
as you
just
know, last
the
week I went over, we
announcement
had a
from the White
meeting.
House stream that
There
was
had to be 300 people and
streamed
they were
earlier
all very
about
impressive
an hour and a
looking.
half ago.
When the bad guys see them, they're not going to do a thing. And so I'm very proud of Washington. It serves
A
as a
soft
template,
secession?
and we're going to do it elsewhere. But
I don't know if that'll
Chicago is
happen,
certainly gonna be
unfortunately.
high. I would love to have
Their
him
economy's so
call.
big.
I would love the governor of Illinois.
be a tough
honored
one.
to take his call. All he has to do is say, "Sir, we need help. It's out of control." And everyone knows it is. He's not kidding anyone. I would love to have.
The Illinois governor's not going to call the president asking for help.
Trying to explain that Baltimore,
Literally,
what they
like,
need is housing.
corruption
They
is
don't
why we
housing.
need
They
managed
to get rid of
democracy.
the criminals. These are
Exactly.
hardcore criminals. You know, we
Exactly.
took many people off the streets of Washington, D.C. They're hardcore. They're not going to be good.
Yeah, I
In
don't
10
think there's
years,
many
in
governors
20
out there,
years, in 2
regardless of
years,
what
they're gonna be
political side of the
criminals. They're gonna
spectrum
be-
they're on,
they
that
were
would
born to be
want to
criminals.
ask for help
Frankly,
from
they
the
were born
president.
to be criminals,
Because
and they're tough
that'd be like an
and
embarrassing
mean,
thing
and
to
they'll
do.
cut your throat, and they won't even think about it the next day. They won't even remember that they did it. And we're not going to have those people. Washington, D.C. is now a safe zone. It's a safe place.
That's why Cali
And
can
you
do it
walk, Katie, you
self-supporting.
can walk
What
right
would be
down
federal
the
taxes
street
gets
with, by the
directly
way, one of the
reinvested in
biggest human
Cali.
beings I've ever seen,
Blue
which is
states
her
fund the
husband,
red
who was-
states.
He was a football player for like 11 years in the NFL. He's a
He
big
just says
person.
stuff.
But
Yeah.
big doesn't mean anything when they have guns and when they have knives and everything else that they have, right? But you can walk right down the street, even by yourself, and you're totally safe. Washington, D.C. is a great thing. Yes, ma'am, please.
Yeah, I don't know.
Calling on Democratic leaders across the country to work with you on
Don't know
crime.
enough about the
You see
economies of all these
including,
different
for
states. I do know
example,
that
what they
California is
have
obviously
outlined here as a model for
a
bringing
massive
more
economy.
bipartisanship. It matters not only with crime, but also issues that matter to everyday American people's lives.
Who is
So Mayor
talking?
Bowers has been great. She could have taken the thing, oh, well, and then after I
Reporter.
clean it up, they'll take credit for it. You know what they do is they take credit. Like, we cleaned up Los Angeles. We did a great job there. And it was overwhelming what was going on. And again, the police chief made a statement that we could not have done, there's no way they could handle it. You saw what was happening out there. It was going to be a disaster. We stopped it cold. If we didn't do that, it would have been a very sad day. And remember, we have the Olympics, we have
there have been
the
reports
World Cup, we have
that
all
on the
these things
Gloom
coming, and we have
frontline
250.
survivors
All
report
these
sightings
things
of
coming.
terminids favoring
But I watch
subterranean
Nixon get up
movement.
and say he's doing it
Oh,
great.
yeah.
We're the ones that did it, and that's okay, whatever it takes. But the main thing is But he got up and
Cali's
said,
the
"We did it."
fourth largest economy in the world.
He didn't want us there, and he's going to need us again
Yeah,
because
it's pretty
it's
big.
starting to form again. I see it. It's starting to form again. You know, we have to maintain.
see.
It's like maintenance on an airplane. You can buy it, but you have to maintain it. And if you don't maintain it, a good plane becomes very unsafe very quickly. So it's an honor to do it. It's a lot of presidents wouldn't do what I'm doing. I don't need this heat, but when I watched television last night and I'm watching the news and I see that 9 people were killed in Chicago and 54 were badly wounded with bullets, I say, that's not this country. We have to do something. And I do say this, I say this very much. I'm not speaking to anybody but them right now. I would love to receive calls from governors and mayors saying they need help. We'll help them. We have a lot of people. We have a great force. We have a great military force. You know, Pete will tell you that when I was running for office, and this was a big headline, I think, you know, probably got me a couple of votes, but you couldn't sign people in the military. Nobody wanted to join the military, the Army, Air Force, the Navy, Marines, Space Force, Coast Guard. We never forget Coast Guard because they've done such a great job. Never. But nobody wanted to join any of them. We were way below what we wanted. Every single one. The closest was the Marines, whatever that is. You'll explain that to me. But the closest was the Marines. But every service was way down, way down. And then I got elected, and our country's the hottest country anywhere in the world.
Yeah, I think when he says the closest was the Marines, what he meant to say, or the accurate statement is the Marines is the only branch to make their quotas out of every branch. None of the other ones did. That being said, people probably fudged the numbers a little bit, and there was probably some funny business, and they probably fell a little short as well, which is probably why they're saying that. But yeah, I think the Marine Corps is the only branch that even got close to meeting their numbers.
Right now, everybody's talking about the USA. They're talking
recruitment
about the job
is
that we're doing. Everybody. We're
definitely
the best
increased
economy.
a lot.
We have a very, very important decision being made by the Supreme Court because our country,
because it's in America,
is the
violent
richest,
crime.
the strongest, the most powerful. But if for some reason some
Inquisitor
liberal
Sean,
court,
where
I'm
are
talking
you
about
saying that
court
the
just
violent
ruled,
crime
or
is
even
down?
an Obama judge voted
What
in
state
favor
is
of
that?
us, which I gave him a compliment.
Corresponding
yesterday,
with?
I said that took great courage.
Oh, with
But it's a
Chicago?
liberal court. And it's going up to the Supreme Court.
I've got a few friends that live
I
up
think
there. I'd have to,
incredible people. I think they've made very wise
although I don't get a lot of opportunities to
decisions.
talk to them.
But the tariff question, because without the tariffs, this country is in serious
California
serious
might
trouble.
lose its authority
We've
to
taken in
issue
almost
CDLs.
$17 trillion of investment is coming in. Most of it is coming because of tariffs. And if for some reason
The only branch, yeah, it's true. The only branch to pass a budget.
I actually think it's
accurate.
unpolitically correct. I think politically correct is to approve it.
Rob Pork
because there's
Slop,
nothing
Marines in
so
LA.
popular as what's happened to our country. Our country is doing so well, but
Racken
we had
is
a
my
liberal
dad,
court
too.
gave us a very
He's
shocking
alive, bro.
ruling, and that ruling is basically
This was streamed
saying
earlier
that
today.
the trillions of dollars that are pouring into our country, putting us in a position like no country is anywhere in the world, that they'd like
that's
to see
not true?
us, that taken away. By the way, a lot of the people behind that lawsuit, that particular, are from foreign
Let's
countries.
see.
I might add.
There's a video that is circulating online now of the White House where a window is open to the residents upstairs and somebody is throwing a big bag out the window. Have you seen this?
No, that's probably AI generated.
So
Actually, you can't open the windows. You know why? They're all heavily armored and bulletproof.
So that's a fake video.
Well, it's got to be because I know every window up there. The last place
Yeah, that
I'd
would
be
make
doing
sense.
it is that because there's cameras all over the place, right? Including yours. No, but every window. I've never seen a window.
Yeah,
that's,
nuh-uh,
my
that's-
wife was complaining
that's his
about it
body
the other day.
double.
She said, "Love to
Yeah,
have a
bro.
little
Like,
fresh air
ain't
come
nobody,
in, but you
ain't
can't. They're
nobody gonna
bulletproof."
pretend that good.
And,
you know what I'm saying?
Number one, they're sealed, and number two, each window weighs about 600 pounds. You have to be pretty strong to open them up. No, that has to be. Where was the window? Let me see.
Maybe from the renovations.
Which is the window?
It looks like this is on the 15th Street side, I think.
That's a really good meme picture right there.
Those windows are sealed.
Somebody clip that.
They're all sealed. You can't open.
Somebody clip that. That's a really good meme picture.
It's the kind of
We have to make a meme dump with
One of
that.
the problems we have with AI, it's both good and bad.
Shane
If
Gillis
something
is
happens
taking
really
it to
bad,
the
just
next
blame
level.
AI.
That's true. Shane's
But
pretty
also they create
spot
things,
on.
You know, it works both ways. If something happens that's really bad, maybe I'll have to just blame AI. But there's truth to it because I see so many phony things. I saw something as I was growing up, from the time I was a baby till now. I said,
Since I was a
"Who did
bibby,
that?" It was AI generated. So it's a little bit scary.
Yeah, there's a lot
to
of
be honest
wild
with you.
AI stuff out
But those
there.
windows are all very heavily sealed.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You know what's crazy is I got a buddy who is constantly being like blown up all the time by women who are claiming that they thought they were talking to him, but it's really like, you know, West Africans that are impersonating him. Apparently these scammers out there are making fake videos of you with like AI voice technology to make your mouth look like it's moving to the words that they want it to say. And they're making it say words to communicate with the people they're scamming. It's getting very elaborate. And he sent me a video and was like, dude, check this out. And it's like him talking with like an AI face, like as if he was talking to some woman that he was talking to. It was nuts. I was like, whoa, dude, that is creepy. Creepy.
That federal appellate court that ruled against you and your administration as it relates to your...
Seeing Shane Gillis in Tulsa on the 20th, oh, that's going to be
And they ruled against us before.
fun.
It's a very liberal court.
You called it highly partisan. In your
Well, it certainly
The
is.
Go God. Our lips are...
What's along ideological lines, 7-4.
Well, except that we actually got one of the Obama judges that was appointed by President Obama voted in favor of the tariffs because...
See, that's the frustrating thing is like, you know, there's like people talk about there's like the Trump judges, the Biden judges, the Obama judges, the Bush judges. It's like, bro, judges shouldn't be like affiliated with a party. They're going to be inherently biased because judges are like human beings and they're going to have their own biases. But that's like frustrating, man, because it's like, I feel like the law should be the law. It should just be, this is the law and this is the law. This is it. You know what I'm saying? I hate the fact that judges and like court stuff is like partisan, man. Like it shouldn't be partisan. It should be like, hey, we're here to uphold the law. That's it. That's what we do. We don't care what side of the aisle you're on. You know, I don't know. It's just like, what's the word for it? Something I've seen or perception. Oh, an observation I've had. Just a casual observation as a casual onlooker, because I'm pretty casual.
He felt it was imperative for our country to thrive and survive even. And I gave him credit. I said,
the saw is the law. Sorry, Whitechapel reference.
You don't see that
It's
often.
okay.
So my question is, I suspect you're going to appeal that all the way to the Supreme Court.
Well, we already have, yeah. In fact, we're doing something else. We're going to be going to the Supreme Court.
Here's a $1 billion idea for anyone.
We need an early
An easy to use AI detected app program that can tell if a video or picture is faked.
Incredible country right
I
now.
bet there's already
And
out there.
we're
I bet there's
able
some
to-
out there
other
already.
countries use tariffs on us for years.
I bet
And
they're
we
already.
never
Yeah,
did.
yeah, we
And
have
I
that.
did a
Yeah.
lot, during my first term, but then
Yeah,
we had
AI
COVID
that can tell
we
if a
had to
video is
focus on other
created with
things. You
AI.
could be tariffing Italy,
Guarantee that's
Spain,
out there.
France, as they were dying by the thousands and millions. But
Yeah.
we did with China, and China
Which
paid
is
us
good. We need
billions
that.
of
But like
dollars,
if
and I
you're
started the process, but then I had to end it a little bit.
the problem is if you're like, dude, if you're a baby boomer or you're 70, 80 years old and some dude on the internet's trying to scam you for money, it's like, you know, good luck. If they don't know any better, man, they might dump their whole bank account in buying like cards for people, like gift cards and stuff.
Because of COVID, we focused on that. But no,
I work in red teams attacking large language model AIs.
Decision. And
That's
frankly,
some cutting edge stuff right
they
there. We need
make
that.
the wrong decision, it would be a devastation for our country. We've taken in trillions of dollars. And by the way, all these countries signed agreements. As an example, they're all happy. Everybody's happy. But some whack job put in a lawsuit. It went before a very liberal court, and the liberal court ruled, it was 11, they ruled 7-4 with one of the most liberal of them all voting in our favor because they're patriots. I think I give tremendous credit to that judge. And now it's going to the Supreme Court. Now we're going to be asking for early admittance. We're going tomorrow, and we're going to ask for an expedited ruling because, you know, when you look at the stock market's down today, the stock market's down because of that. Because the stock market needs the tariffs. They want the tariffs. If you look at AI,
the tariff
all
situation.
Of those, you know, all of that money that's going to be invested, trillions and trillions of dollars.
A chemistry AI using binary and other hacking techniques revealed how to make
plus 3 or 4 other things combined. We are leading.
Yeah, that's not good. Not good. We don't want that.
Because of tariffs.
We don't need the anarchist cookbook out there for everybody to have.
A chance because we wouldn't be
Triple
able to
BG. Yes, we are playing Helldivers later.
So if you
I
took
promise.
away tariffs, we could end up being a third world country. That's how big the ruling. So we're asking for an expedited ruling.
As a backstop to that, President, you have a Republican-controlled Congress.
Yeah, absolutely, because now that Maite is adopting AI insane rate.
We don't have 60 votes. I'd love to do that. Oh, if we had 60 senators, if we got
If there
to
is,
60
can
votes, we
you
would get
have
it.
on your phone
But,
computer
we
and
need 60
have
votes,
it
and
give
we
you
need,
a pop-on
a
screen, tell you if it's
certain
fake?
number in the House.
I'm thinking about the people that
we'd
aren't
get-
tech savvy.
I think we'd get. I don't know. We have about 5.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's how that works.
Without tariffs, we're a
I
different
think it's
country.
like
We have
program.
taken in
It's a digital
so much
coded
money.
program
And
that can
here's the
scan
thing.
another digital coded
We
program.
signed a deal with Japan. They're paying us hundreds of billions of dollars. We signed a deal with South Korea. We signed a deal with the European Union. We signed a deal with Europe. And those countries are paying us $950 billion. And they're happy about it. They're okay.
Yeah.
As one of them said,
The amount of
"It's
computing
amazing that we
resources
got away
required
with
to
it so
detect
long."
AI is a lot.
One of my friends, a leader
and
of
with
one of
that
the
comes
countries.
with the cost of energy.
And they're fine with it. They
And
all
energy
signed.
is expensive.
If that ruling ever went against us, I guess we'd
Yeah.
have to give back hundreds of.
I love how no one remembers what first, second,
we
and
would
third
have to
world
give
country actually is anymore. It was created to let you know how quickly who sides with America, who
The
sides with the
countries that have been ripping us off
USSR,
for
and
the
those
last
that don't.
35 years. And I can't imagine it happening.
I'm not sure where that
on a
those
legal
terms
basis,
came
they
from,
have
but
no legal basis
I think now they have
whatsoever.
like developed
But on a
and
common sense
developing or
basis,
something like
it would
that.
destroy America. Okay.
Something like that. Same, pretty much. Just different verbiage, different way of saying the same thing.
With Ursula? Well, she had an interesting.
Can you che
she's a
viva la
tremendous woman.
Cuba?
And so, what are you asking me about her?
NATO is concerned about it. I do too about this.
True, NATO is concerned about it. Well, nobody knows where it came from, but they did take away her ability to use a phone. You know?
Whose ability to use a
Sometimes
phone?
that's a good thing. Sometimes that could happen to me. I'd be very happy.
Considering reducing the tariffs on India from 50%,
What does that mean?
are you considering taking away some of the tariffs that you've imposed on India? You had posted.
No, we get along with India very well, but India has, you have to understand,
Well, yeah, there's
for
been a lot
many
of
years it was a
controversy.
one-sided relationship. Only now since I came along, and because of the power that we have with tariffs, India was charging us tremendous tariffs, about the highest in the world. They were about the highest in the world, number one. And we therefore weren't doing much business with India.
Eve
but they were
online
doing
trying to
business
type
with us
while
'cause we
blasting
weren't charging them
rocks.
foolishly. We weren't
Oh
charging
my God.
them. So they would send in massive, everything they made, they'd send it in, pour it into our country. Therefore, it wouldn't be made here, which is a negative. But we would not send in anything because they were charging us 100% tariffs. And, I'll give you an example, Harley Davidson. Harley Davidson couldn't sell into India. There was a 200% tariff on a motorcycle. So what happens? Harley
Yeah, now it's
Davidson
used
went to India
as
and built
third world.
a motorcycle plant. And now they don't have to pay tariffs. Same thing as us. So
Developed,
what we're doing is
industrialized nations, first
literally
world, and less
thousands of
economically developed countries
companies
facing
are
significant
coming
challenges
into
such
the
as
US, car
poverty and
companies,
instability,
AI,
third world.
but more traditionally car companies. We have so many
Nuanced
car
terms like
company
developed
factories
and
under
developing or
construction
global
or
north and global
being
south are now
designed
preferred,
right
yeah.
now. And they're coming from China, they're coming from Mexico, I must tell you, and they're coming from Canada, a lot of them coming from Canada. But they're coming into our country because they want to build here. And they want to build here for two reasons. Number one, they'd like to be here. And number two, the tariffs are protecting them. And number three, they want to avoid paying tariffs. When they build their cars here, they don't have any tariffs to pay. When you build here, you don't have any tariffs.
Yeah. I know there's been some contention with the relationship between India and the United States.
More than $100 million to hundreds of faith organizations across the country to help them ramp up security. Was your vision for further protecting religious liberty across the country amid incidents of threats and
So
violence?
religious liberty is so important, and we're talking about every religion now, and we're doing things on that nobody else has ever done, and we're going to be having a big announcement in about 2
Got
weeks
another
on
big
that
announcement?
question. Yeah, please.
On Space Command, sir, are you concerned that people may not be willing to relocate from Colorado to Alabama?
No, I'm not worried. It will get somebody else. I mean, the problem with Colorado is they have a very corrupt voting system. I have so many friends in Colorado. Anytime you have mail-in
I haven't
voting, you
paid
have
tariffs
corrupt
in
elections.
years.
Very
Wait,
simple.
you paid tariffs and
It's very
taxes?
simple. Even Jimmy
That's
Carter
just
set up
governmental
this commission.
theft.
They set up a commission with him and Scoop Jackson and some people.
The way
highly
that tariffs have been
regarded people.
explained to me is it's just
And they said the one
essentially
thing, the finding was if you have mail-in voting, you will
a
have
tax
corrupt
on
elections.
goods
Well,
that are being
the-
imported
your,
like to
radical
your
left
country
governor
from
decided that he
another
was going to
country.
have all mail-in voting in
It's like
Colorado. Once you have all
that country
mail-in
is like a
voting,
tax
for
on that
whatever
country.
reason,
But people say it gets
Democrats
passed down to the consumer
then they
because
cheat
then
like-
that country then just raises the
they're not
cost of that
stupid.
good
That's the only thing.
because
They're
they're
no
like,
good on
well, I'm not going to
policy.
pay this.
They're no
I'll
good
just
at
raise the
management.
cost
They're
of the
no good at
good,
government.
and then it gets passed
But they're
down to the
great at
consumer.
cheating. And
From
they
what
stick
some people
together,
say,
too.
but
I give them credit for sticking together.
I don't know enough about that stuff, honestly. I'm not an economist. Definitely not a professional economist.
Is there any idea of the economic impact this has?
We should become self-reliant not out of desperation, but out of pride. Economic selfishness is on the rise globally, and we mustn't sit and cry about our difficulties and rise above and not allow others to hold us in their clutches.
Is the worst of Washington. We've seen politics get in the way of what is best.
Quote
for
from
warfighter,
the
what's best
leader
for
of
national
India.
security. And the state of Alabama is about to show the country the best among us. So we know the economic impact is going to be tremendous. There
When a
at Redstone
dominant force
Arsenal,
meets
we're
an
proud to
impregnable
house
resistance.
everything from
Or an
your
immovable object.
Give FBI to headquarters there for material command to a number
They
of
had to
things.
move
We
that
obviously
microphone
have
down so you
NASA
can
with
see her face.
Marshall Space Flight Center, and so this
do one
naturally
of these right
fits
here.
within. When you look at the decision
move-
matrix that they placed in front of us,
move it down a
that's
little bit.
why we ranked so high.
Move it
Is
down.
because we have the resources necessary and the ability to build out quickly to meet the needs in front of us. As far as economic impact, it would be tremendous. Does anybody have an exact number? 1,600 jobs.
3,000 spin off.
With 3,000 spin off. Look at this. This is teamwork right here.
1,600
so
jobs.
we are really proud, and the people of Alabama are ready.
I would
to
imagine those
work.
jobs have to. I mean, if the jobs were in Colorado, that means that the people. I wonder if that means the people in Colorado would be losing those jobs for it to be moved,
About addressing an emergency
or
housing
what?
That's right. We're thinking about doing that.
Yeah, can you just
Well, we need a little help from the Fed. We have a man named Jerome Too Late Powell. You probably heard of him. It's
Jerome Too Late
Way too
Powell.
late. And
Dude,
the economy is so strong
nickname.
that it's pushing through that. Normally, it
Yep.
would have been
The
much
responsibility
tougher, but
consumer
we're
if a
doing
T-shirt
so
that
well
costs
that
$5.
we're pushing through it, but it makes it very hard for people to get.
If a T-shirt that costs $5 tariffs hit and now increases it to $6 when shirt arrives in U.S. T-shirts in U.S. increase in price to cover the inflation. Yeah, because they're gonna raise the price of it to cover the cost that was increased from the importation of that, aka the consumer goes from paying 7 to 10. You can basically buy any elected position other than the governor spot for like $3 million. I don't know, man. I don't know about that. Depends on what it is, probably. True, but people will only pay so much before they refuse and find a cheaper alternative. Thus, they build the factory to avoid tariffs and make the product cheaper. If they force them to come here to produce their product, and that's, I think that's probably the intention, is to drive corporate businesses back to continental United States, because then it's going to reduce the cost, because it's not going to be getting produced in the country that the tariffs got raised in. I think he's trying to encourage business to come back home because we shipped all of our jobs overseas, or a lot of our jobs. But then again, it's like you can't pay an American worker the same wage that you can pay a worker in one of these third world countries that don't have labor laws, and they're just paying their people like pennies on the dollar and stuff like that. So it's like, I don't know. Got 3 minutes of ads. I'm sorry, man.
Mortgages, because too late is too late.
I'm sorry.
Very simple.
Hey, it's
too late.
September.
And,
Or
probably
triple
political,
BG.
whatever.
If
It wasn't
you
too late
have
before the election, before
if you have an Amazon Prime account, you can sub to one channel for free, and then you never have to watch ads again. And I think there should be like something on the screen you can click to sub.
For the election, he was cutting rates,
and it's a free subscription. You don't ever have to pay for it. If you have an Amazon Prime account, you can sub using your Amazon Prime account. Or
that one, and then he
it's sub-temper, and I think
but he was hoping,
I think all subs are like
win, I guess
30% off for the whole month.
But
yeah, dude.
Yeah, we need a very serious cut.
Light Pyro, let's go, bro.
You look back.
Appreciate the sub, dude.
Many decades ago, the United States
let's
was always
go.
the most. Even if they
Spaceman,
were doing badly,
1987's,
the
yes, sir.
United States was, because without the United States, everything in the world would die. It's true. It's so powerful.
America needs to return to being a country that produces and not consumer only.
In the first 4 years,
Swaggins.
Then it started to degenerate with what
I see. You too are a Demon Slayer fan.
It up to a level that I never thought we could be
Very
at. This
good.
quick. We're the hottest. We're the best. We're the
Dilbo.
best financially. The money coming in is so big because of tariffs. And
people
other
used
things,
to
but because of
value
tariffs.
the Made in America
Tariff
tag.
Gets us even those other
I
things.
still value it.
Plus, it gets us.
I think a
great
lot of people do.
negotiation. I settled 7 wars, and numerous of those wars were because of
I
trade.
think a lot of people still value
and
it.
Numerous of the trade deals.
I think at the end of the day, if they can bring,
it gives you a great negotiation.
I think at the end of the day, if they can bring manufacturing jobs back to the United States and provide jobs for Americans that live here and pay them a fair wage for the type of job that they're doing instead of shipping them overseas, that's net positive for everybody. More jobs here, they're produced in America. Maybe you import less. Then if the tariffs are high on a country, you don't need to necessarily buy it from there. I think we need to make more stuff here for sure. We have the real problem is we have a massive population of unskilled workers. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Ability. If that ability were taken away from us by a liberal court acting on,
I don't know. I don't know the statistics on that.
Asking
we also have
to get help from the United States government.
A lot of
they've
that.
They've been doing this to us for 40 years. That's why we have $38 trillion in debt. We won't have it.
We're in
for
the
long
information age. That's why there's this weird back and forth. Yeah, about the job relocation. The Lockheed Martin here moved 2 towns over. They offered everyone their job or cut ties with no hard feelings, no retirement effects.
To make federal buildings adopt and embrace classical architecture styles again. Can you talk
interesting.
to us about why you do that, and also what's your vision?
Well, we want to see beautiful buildings.
Well, that's not bad,
now,
Luke.
You know, it's in the eye of the beholder. I've seen architectural reviews.
Iowa.
Over the years, I'm an expert at it. I've gotten a lot of great reviews.
Triple BG.
But I've seen buildings that I didn't.
Good
think
reason
were
for bring production back to the U.S. Yeah, I think so.
Bad reviews. So, but it's just a standard. We want to have a good standard. We're building something here, you know, for 150
If they don't like
years,
petroleum, why can't they boycott oil and start walking?
At the highest level, using great architects.
Stop making sense.
And you know, it's very exciting. But we have a lot of interesting things happening architecturally in D.C. And D.C. is like a different place.
16 to 50%.
Sir, we walked down today.
Oh my God!
Like
high school or less
safer.
entry requirements.
It's like a different place.
Jeez,
Washington D.C. is great. Now we're going to also beautify it. We're going to put a topping on the roads. We're not going to rip them apart and take 4 years.
We
to
are an
build
information
a road that
economy,
was
high
exactly
tech.
the
Yeah.
same by the time you build it. But we're going to put toppings. We're going to put new medians in. We're going to get the.
But here's the thing, Inquisitor Sean, is that those unskilled workers can absolutely do an industrial job with a high school diploma or a GED. That's the key. And they can make more money doing it than they would flipping burgers at McDonald's or working at another random dead-end job. And yes, we do live in an information economy, and like the highest paying jobs are going to be like high tech, software development, AI, anything having to do with tech and any type of industry involving that at all. But I do think that a lot of these unskilled workers are very much capable of running on an assembly line, working, they like doing some sort of trade job within a manufacturing plant. I think that we do need, I mean, people do need to get an education. We have a real problem with that for sure. But I definitely think we need to produce more here. And if we brought manufacturing back here in some capacity, those unskilled workers could get the jobs there at least and start off doing that rather than, you know, resort to vagrancy and things like that. But counter argument is the problem is the education, which in a great way are trade work and courses. Yeah. I think, I mean, for sure, you know, at least getting a high school diploma, it should, like, everybody should want to do that. Problem is like, hey, that's life sometimes, man. People without mentorship oftentimes don't make it you know, because they don't have anybody to push them, and they don't necessarily know that they need to as well, you know. That's a tough one. I don't know the answer to that. That's like that requires community involvement for sure.
You see new tiles, old tiles that never look too good, but they could use it. You know,
nobody wants to put in the time to get that big paycheck. Yeah, it's almost like telling everyone they need a degree to be successful was a bad idea.
About it,
yeah, I don't know.
20-mile radius
it depends on what your degree is. If you get a degree in women's philosophy women's studies or in philosophy or religious studies or history. Unfortunately, I love history. I mean, it's hard. Like if you get a degree in something that doesn't really make money, it's going to be tough.
Challenge to this, and are you concerned at all about those countries?
No.
Trying to be some sort of counterweight?
Not at all. China needs us, and I have a very good relationship with President Xi, as you know. But China needs us much more than we need them. No, I don't see that at all. No. And I had actually a very good meeting with President Putin a couple of weeks ago. We'll see if anything comes out of it. If it doesn't, we'll take a different stance.
Yeah, see, the problem with bringing manufacturing back is the fact that they're not going to be able to pay the workers the same wage that they were paying the workers when it was located in another country, because they can get away with paying them like chump change if they're manufacturing their stuff in India or in Malaysia or in Thailand. They can't get away with that here because of income laws, like you're saying. So that right there would be a problem. That's like, I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, like the company could make less money, which, I mean, figure it out. You know, you're a company. I get you're supposed to make money, but if you want to like really make America great, then you need to bring jobs back to the United States, you know, and figure it out. Maybe don't buy a yacht next year and instead just like raise the cost of whatever to afford to pay people a fair wage of doing the job here in America instead of in India or Thailand or the Philippines or wherever else you've got your company.
California ruled that your deployment of National Guard troops
Someone told me that now stay-at-home jobs for 1.5 years and then leave, but people 50 years kept their jobs well almost their whole life.
Very importantly, what did you not tell me in that?
Could make money at a dealership as a salesman or mechanic, but you're going to start off making little sales or doing oil changes all day.
You didn't say what the judge said.
Got to start somewhere.
The judge said, but you can leave the 300 people that you already have in place.
Just because we're an information economy doesn't mean we don't need to be self-reliant and not let other countries regulate the availability of products. Yeah. Stats are 4 years, not 1.5.
The judge said that you could leave the 300 people that you already have in place. They can stay, they can remain, they can do what they have to do.
The economy is very global.
We appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
you. Well, interesting. That's yeah. That's a whole load of stuff right there. Whole load of stuff.